hello, it's Echo. We are in a different corner of the room today because I did not feel like sitting at my desk. Also, we're a lot closer to the clock, so I hope you can hear that nice and loud. Constant reminder of the ever-impending doom. I also did not feel like having hair today, so you get to see my glorious forehead. I recently realized that it has been almost exactly a year since I made one of these videos. I usually make these videos in partnership with Amino, but I haven't worked with them in a very long time, so I just decided to throw out the request on Twitter. So I just kind of tweeted out, give me your OCs, I need to draw them, because I'm too lazy to come up with my own stuff. Also, that tweet is pinned to the top of my profile for now. If you would like to take part in one of these videos, you can post your OC there. So I went through some of the replies to that tweet, and I have drawn a couple, which I would like to show you now. Okay, let's begin. So the first character I have is from Sienna is Dead on Twitter. I think that's how you say that username. Never expect me to say your username right. I will usually fail. She doesn't have a name because she's like the mascot for my online branding, but I think she's pretty neat. I love her. This is a very fun color palette, and I think the color palette was probably the main reason that I picked this. So I think out of the 3 drawings that I did, this is the one that I probably spent the most time on. I actually did this while I was in Washington. It took me quite a while to figure out how I wanted to draw all of the body proportions and positioning and stuff because I was very out of practice in Washington, but I figured the best way to draw her would be to have her sitting down. I'm also kind of proud of the hands in this one. Hands are not easy. Also, why you should always use references. I put her on kind of a floating saucer sort of thing because I didn't know what I wanted to have her sat on, so a big round circle just seemed not distracting. So when I was trying to figure out how to draw the shorts with decent perspective, I actually ended up going on Pinterest and finding references for LOL dolls. I'm too old to play with those toys. But while I was looking for other references, one of them popped up and it was just kind of perfect. Whatever. It worked. References are everywhere. The jacket was one of the last things that I drew because I honestly kind of forgot about it until the end. I'm so used to drawing boots on characters that I also forgot to draw the shoes. Just completely slipped my mind until halfway through the line art. You know how sometimes you see those artists who draw really big, really incredibly detailed shoes? I could be that artist. Hands and feet are difficult to draw, but I can draw feet pretty well. Don't read into that. I drew these shoes without any reference. Coloring skin is another thing that I need a lot of practice with, but I had a lot of fun with the color on this one. Good color palette. Good choices, my friend. I tried to add some dimension to the shoes, so instead of just making them all a solid black color, I added various shades of charcoal and dark gray. Slight variation helps you kind of visually separate different portions of the shoes. Her skin also had a lot of blush, which was really fun to play with. I also like that she's wearing a mask. Wear a mask. It's not hard. That was probably one of the worst things about being in Washington. So many people out there just don't want to wear masks. Rural America, stop. We're in this together. I'm happy with how I shaded her hair, but I think that that's just kind of my system for shading hair. When I go about shading hair, I have a pretty specific way that I do it. And it's not the greatest, it could look more realistic, but I'm okay with how it looks on this one. It just looks stylistic. The very last thing I did in this was the eyes, and I decided to go ahead and make her pupils the dark purple instead of the pure black, partially because that's how this person has it in their original drawing, but also because sometimes I feel like if I make pupils too large and then make them pitch black, they look off. Overall, I like this drawing. I think I'm okay with how the overall look came out. I didn't put backgrounds on any of these drawings, but it's fine. This next one is by @OliverSnowpure. I actually let my cousin pick this one. I just kind of gave him my phone and let him scroll until he found an OC that he liked, and he liked this one. This is Twist. He is my most prized character. So I noticed in the reference sheet that it says Mountain Draka, and I ended up looking this up because I had never heard of this. This is an interesting fraction of the internet that I am not familiar with, but apparently Drakas are a whole thing. So if you know more about that community, please feel free to tell me because I know nothing, and internet education is always appreciated. When I initially drew this, the head was way too big and I had to shrink it down a fair amount. I'm getting better at drawing animal forms. Animals have a very distinct bone structure, and it's similar to humans in the way that things kind of break down, but if you want to get good at animals, you have to kind of memorize how their bones bend and what makes them different from human beings, and I actually feel like I'm getting better at it. One of the things that I decided to do differently about this one was that I didn't want to have a separate line art layer and sketch layer. I just decided to develop the sketch using the same pencil brush the whole time. I also used a more classic coloring method by actually going in and drawing all of the block forms instead of dropping color in, because the sketch was kind of a mess and I thought it would be best to do it by hand. Some of the colors I had adjusted a bit because I was worried that the indigo blue might be a little bit too dark to see the line work, and I was worried that the red was too saturated to look natural, so I just kind of took everything down a little bit. With this, the very last thing that I did was add a shadow. I didn't want to do one that was as blatant as the one in the reference image, so I just kind of did like a light shadow. Overall, I think I like this one. I like how it ended up. It's good. Also, the reference sheet for this, A+. Good job. Lots of information, stuff I could look up if I was confused, and the color palette. Good job. This last one was submitted by @thenanamother. The Nana Mother? Oh, this is another one I really, really like. Partially because it's red and black. So her name is Mint and she's a small happiness monster. Her way of feeding is to trick humans and other monsters to share their happiest memories with her. She steals that memory, devouring it, but only leaves her victims when they no longer have any good memories. I like this concept. Because the color in this one was very simple and blocky, this one probably took the least amount of time. I really love good, simple designs. I had a fun time drawing the position of this because of her like puffy pantaloons. I feel like this character has a lot of like 90s dark comedy cartoon vibes. There's a lot that you could do with this character. She would be really good animated. I think one of the more difficult things in this that I had to draw were the hair things, because I wanted them to look dynamic, but I didn't want them in front of or behind the hands, but I also didn't want them to look really flat. Figuring out the spots was a little bit difficult because all of the brushes that I have dots that are a lot closer together, so I ended up downloading a screen tone and then using the liquify tool to just morph it into the right shape. It took quite a few tries to get the right pattern. Also, I like the teeth. I had a lot of fun with the teeth. I like this character a lot. Good design. Good job, my friend. A+ character design. Okay, let's wrap this video up. My hair looks so silly. If you want to take part in one of these videos and potentially have me draw one of your characters, just post it somewhere on the internet like Instagram or Twitter or Amino with the hashtag #EchoDrawThis. These days, I'm mostly using Twitter. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. YouTube wants me to make longer videos, but I like having these in sets of 3. Should I bump this up to 5 so I can have longer videos and make YouTube happy? Or should I just keep it at 3 and try and make more? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Be safe in the pandemic. Wear your mask. Use hand sanitizer. If you feel sick, try and get a coronavirus test. You can still get them at CVS. I'm gonna give you 1,200 awesome points for making it all the way to the end of this video. Thank you for coming with me on this strange journey. But yeah, I think that's everything for now. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'm gonna take off and I will hopefully see you later. Goodbye. Yeah, that's it. That's how you make a YouTube video. You're done now. Go, frolic, and be free. Check it out on Markiplier.